Keep clear of the moors and beware the moon. It's time for An American Werewolf in London. Hey guys, me, host Super Sorrel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Look what I got. It's the American Werewolf in London NECA figure. This is the ultimate Kessler wolf. This is awesome. American Werewolf in London, one of those films I watched in my formative adolescent years, shall we say, as I was coming into enjoying horror films. American Werewolf in London will always be remembered for me for that transformation scene into the wolf for the first time. Absolutely terrifying. Loved this film as a kid. It wasn't overly graphic or anything for a kid's movie to be... it wasn't a kid's film, but you know what I mean. It wasn't overly graphic, so I think a lot of kids got away with seeing this film. And the fact that, obviously, I'm from Yorkshire, it was one of those films that you had to watch growing up because it was set in our local area for some of the movie. Up on the moors. when they met 'em all talk like that. And no, there isn't a slaughtered lamb pub on the moors, and I wish there was, because if there was an actual slaughtered lamb pub, that would be amazing. But anyway, for now, guys, let's take a look at the NECA figure itself. So the box artwork is absolutely amazing. I'm not an inbox collector, but that artwork is stunning. Obviously, it's a NECA figure, so it's got the open face front, which also has an artist rendering on the side of the wolf itself. And then, of course, we've got the big bad wolf himself with a snarling face as well. Side profile gives us another shot of the wolf. And then the back gives us some nice shots as well, with a little write-up which states, David and Jack, two American college students, are backpacking through Britain when a large wolf attacks them. David survives with a bite, but Jack is brutally killed. As David heals in the hospital, he's plagued by violent nightmares of his mutilated friend, who warns David that he is becoming a werewolf. When David discovers the horrible truth, he contemplates committing suicide. But before the next full moon causes him to transform from man to murderous beast. Yeah. Let's go ahead and break this bad guy out of the packaging. Oh my god, look at this thing. This looks just like the monster from the movie. Wow, look at the face sculpt on this thing. That is so cool. I am so into this. That is amazing. I'm blown away by that. The actual figure itself as well is very nice. I'm just looking at the claws and things are all very cool. He's got a hinge here at the at the hand, so he can put his hands down. Obviously, he's got little hinges on the actual pads of his paws as well, which is nice. Same at the back. The arms can move outwards as well as forwards and backwards a little bit. Same at the back here. They're on like little ball joints. So lots of movement and things here are available. This is a little bit bigger than a figure I'm used to recording, so I'm struggling with the angle and things, trying to get this all on camera for you. The only thing I don't like is the mouth is glued shut. I wish that was a hinged jaw. And they do give us the alternate head, which has got the blooded up, snarling, gnarly face, which I'm not sure I'll be using, because I do like this one, but that is a cool expression. And that just slots in on a little ball peg. But whilst it's cool, I wish the mouth was movable. I wish you could hinge this mouth to close it and open it. That would just make it even better for me. Now, I know they've also made the Nightmare monster, sort of the Nightmare Werewolfy monster that they show off in the film as well, that's a part of the dream sequence. I know that has become a figure now as well for American Werewolf in London, so I'm very tempted to grab that as well. But do you know what I would love more than anything? If they made a mid-transformation version of David. So, like, you know the scene where he's on his back like that and he's slowly transforming and you can see the legs like slowly elongating and stuff? It would be cool if they made a figure that is based on that moment of the film. I think that would be absolutely stunning. But this figure, oh my god, it's so good. So looking at the actual paint apps and things, it's all very well painted. Look at I love all the little grey strokes in there to make the fur look more dense and realistic as well. It looks very matted and, like I say, very gnarly looking. They've even included little eyebrows as well, which is kind of cool. Gives it that nice expression face. The fangs are very nice as well. They feel very secure. Like I say, I wish the jaw was hinged, but I do like the snarling teeth look with all the yellowy sort of brown stains on them. The eyes look very lived as well, you know what I mean? Like they look real. Some figures give you that dead eye look, whereas this doesn't. This to me looks like he's staring directly into the camera. And yeah, that's just a very cool portrait. Again, looking at the rest of the figure, it's very sturdy. I don't want to mess with it too much. But yeah, very sturdy articulation here. He is very, very heavy. So I'm trying not to move him too much, because I don't want to break any hinges early on. Because NECA figures are renowned for having like stiff hinges that then just snap off. I can't tell you how many NECA figures over the years I have broken quite early on. And I want this guy on my shelf for years to come. I have a horror shelf, as you guys know, and this guy is going to be prominently displayed on that shelf in a few moments. Move those pads forward a little bit there, I think. There we go. Yeah. And we can make him look up there. Very awesome. So guys, what are your thoughts on American Werewolf in London? Was this a film that you saw as a kid? That's what I'd love to know as well. Were you a fan of this film growing up? Was it a film that you saw as a youngster, or is it a film you saw later on in life? Or have you never seen the movie? I'd love to know that as well, how people have actually never seen this film that watch the videos. Oh, I just love him so much. As I say, I saw this film as a young kid, and it didn't scare me. It wasn't like a film that was scary. It was eerie and weird, but I don't think it ever scared me. I grew up on a diet of weird films. I loved Goosebumps. I loved Are You Afraid of the Dark? I read horror, not horror books, but like kids horror and like point horror. I read stuff like that from a young age. I was heavily into comic books, especially the weirder comic books. Like I remember owning a Dracula comic pretty early on in life. I've always been obsessed with Dracula and the Universal monsters. And yes, I didn't watch proper serious horror films. Obviously, the horrible horrors. I didn't watch them till I was a lot older. But like the cheesy, like my dad growing up would not have considered American Werewolf in London a horror film. This was just a film that would have been on like the Sci-Fi Channel or on on the Sky movie channels as I was growing up, and we would have watched it. Or I would have rented it from the video store, and my dad would have had no idea what it was. But yeah, I grew up on a diet of weird films in my adolescent years, and American Werewolf is definitely one of them. So I'd love to know your thoughts, like I say, in the comments down below. Are you a fan of American Werewolf in London? And what figure would you like to see them create next based on the movie? Let me know in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed today's review, then please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Subscribing really supports us, it really helps us out and helps us keep making awesome videos. But until next time, may the Force be with you. Stay off the moors. Beware the moon. Bye.